PJ Hall, scouting report. This is a big man who had a very successful career at Clemson, individually, statistically successful for a long time. And then his senior year, they had a little bit of a breakthrough Elite Eight run. And it was really fun to watch him get over the hump for the first time in a collegiate uniform. If you watched a lot of PJ Hall, this is one of the most productive scorers, rebounders, big men in general in the sport. The question is, how does that translate to the NBA level? He's a 6'10", 235-pound big. Kind of mostly played the four at Clemson, but can definitely be a 5'2". It's kind of like a tweener at the NBA level in my mind. He's the 50th rated player on our big board. I had him 64th, so I don't expect him to be drafted. You, Riley, were the highest of all of us. You had him 46th overall. So let's get right to our categories here. What is one word to describe PJ Hall?
Surprising. And I say that because you look at him, it's like a white dude who's good, not great shooter, really productive at the college level. Oh, he's probably just a plodding big who posts up and has a deep post bag. And it's like, well, on one extent, yeah, he does have a post bag, but he can do so much more than that. Looked really good on pick and pops. I know he was a 31% shooter this past year, still made 52 of them from long range. I think he moves really well without the ball. He's good at relocating for spot up threes, and he's a solid defender. Like, I would say he's comfortable, if not unspectacular in space. You won't watch him. Well, I don't know how it'll translate to the NBA. That's where I have my questions. But at least at the college level, guarding in space, it wasn't like, oh, it's barbecue chicken time. Like, watch out for the clunky white dude. Like, he's pretty agile.
Yeah, he moves well. I definitely came away thinking that whenever I watched him. I think my thing for PJ, my word for PJ is traditional. I don't really mean that as a compliment because I think he's like a throwback post guy that was your prototypical white college big. How many of the prototypical white college bigs that we all know and love in college end up playing long NBA careers? It's very rare, right? Like, I don't know. I probably can't name one that wasn't like a lottery pick that actually worked out. And you got to have shooting or passing or something. PJ Hall's just like a back to the basket guy who doesn't even have a go-to back to the basket move other than like he plays hard.
Okay, but that's my whole now it's time to debate a little bit because that's the reason why I picked surprising because he is more versatile than that. Watch that man move without the ball. Watch him get open for threes. Watch him make decisions on the perimeter. He's more than just like I don't like Frank Kaminsky. I don't Frank Kaminsky was really that's a bad pull. Because Kaminsky was a
I will
monster.
put it this way. I think PJ was a super valuable heart of the team type guy in college. And when they needed a bucket in the post, they went to Ian Shefflin over PJ Hall in the games that I watched.
PJ Hall has bounce though. Like PJ Hall can actually dunk on dudes. He like Ian Shefflin is just wide. Well, I mean, he's an incredible rebounder, but PJ Hall actually has skill. That's my
I,
whole point
I
here.
see. I would argue Shefflin has more scoring stuff than PJ does, and PJ scored because he can move well and he's an athlete and he's strong. But I don't think that buys him any buckets when you go up against Joel Embiid. Let's move on. Is he more likely to hit his ceiling or his floor in the NBA?
It pains me to say, but floor. I'm the high guy on him, but his floor is not like terrible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm
It's
sorry.
not. He can
Yes, it
stick
is.
around in the league for like 5 years. He can
He
be a
could. That's
decent.
his ceiling, though. His
I think
his
his ceiling's
floor is
higher
he
than that.
never plays in the NBA.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna have to make a bet offline that PJ sticks on an NBA roster this year.
We
He
have
at
too many
least gets
bets
a two
offline
way.
right now, but I'm game, and I think they're all ACC oriented. I
Yes, they
uh,
are.
I'm gonna go floor. I'm sorry. I do think his floor is really low, and it's likely that if he does hit his floor, it means he doesn't play. He's not on a roster. I just think this is like I'm trying to think of guys that have been college killers that don't really have the translatable skill set. Like Luka Garza was a superstar, and Luka Garza can't play in the league. And Luka Garza is a bazillion times more skilled than PJ Hall is. I don't think he's big enough to guard. I don't think he's athletic enough to hang, and I don't think he has the offensive skill set to warrant the other concerns. So we'll see. What's a good place that he could land?
Los Angeles Lakers. They just need any sort of like backup big with some competence. And they, win now mode for LeBron, like it's been the past decade. You want a guy who is proven and not just an upside guy. And they have the 55th pick. That was also the thinking with that.
PJ Hall on the beach would be a scene. It really
It's
would
also
be.
going to tie. It's going to tie into my superlative as well.
Is he
So
going to be most likely to get sunburnt? Because I totally agree with you if that's what you go with. I said the New York Knicks. I've done this for a couple big men recently, but if Isaiah Hartenstein can become like a super productive big next to the other core guys for New York, PJ Hall probably could. Like PJ Hall in college was better than Hartenstein, and he plays hard and he can catch and finish. So I guess like that would be the path for me. If there's a way this works, it's like he just lands somewhere he can just be the guy that plays hard and he's off a superstar and shooters. And that's essentially what the New York Knicks big man has done this season. What does his best statistical season in the NBA look like?
14. I'm kidding. I'm like 6 points, 3 rebounds, 35% from three.
Okay. Yeah, I don't do drugs, but that one made me want to like take a hit of something when I heard you say 6 or 14 for PJ Hall. I 4 points, 2 rebounds is what I have. Keep it moving. Where will he be in 5 years? Starter, bench, overseas, G League, or podcaster?
I wanted to say G League, but because you've been knocking my King PJ, I'm gonna have to up the ante and say he'll be on a bench in 5 years.
Wow. I said G League, and I think he can be like productive G League long-term starter, like make a good living as a minor league basketball player starter year in and year out. It could happen. I also would like to put a twist on that, that in a few years, we see him also become like a content guy, like not a podcaster, but I've seen this exact thing happen with Nick Stauskas, who I loved, by the way. Nick Stauskas went from like scoring 60 in a G League game like 2 years ago to like now he is a host of a sports segment and he's all over my social media timeline. I think there's going to be like PJ Hall commenting on like Anthony Edwards needs to step it up in 5 years and it'll be really, really good.
He definitely, like, personality wise, has a little JJ Watt in him where it's like wholesome and good vocabulary and like engaging, but at the same time, like a little bit of excitement mixed in to where it makes you see that it could happen.
Yeah, he had the moment in college this year where they were undefeated. Clemson was like 10-0, and it was like them and Purdue. And he told Goodman, I think, on the field of 68 that like I don't see them undefeated. And it was like, huh? Like, dude, you're at Clemson. Like, let's calm down for a second. What's the superlative? PJ Hall is the most likely player to do what?
Have a glow up centered on mini designer clothes. And that ties into if he goes to the Lakers and he and AD and Braun are getting fits off together. Because if you look at PJ's Instagram, he's dabbling in that direction a little bit. He kind of has the like the Jack Harlow haircut that sort of precedes the designer clothes glow up. And I think if he lands in like an LA or a Miami or something, that timeline's gonna get accelerated.
Why do I feel like he's going to become a Skims model? We're going to see a Kim Kardashian tweet of PJ Hall in beige underwear. I can see it. I went the opposite direction as you. This is going to be, we really do need a bet on this. I think PJ Hall is the most likely to have a surprisingly early receding hairline.
There's no signs of male pattern baldness yet.
That's why it's going to be surprising. Give it this. My boy Stauskas, you seen him lately? Things have
I have
changed.
not.
My guy PJ, he's got great locks right now. We'll see what a couple years in the G League does for him. All right, that's the video. Good Lord. I can't believe we're doing 75 of these. They're on the channel. Go watch them. The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured On the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator, you can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at NBA2KLab.com/NBA-mini-games.